Right. So we will learn how you want to manage your social responsibility as an organization, and then how you want to manage ethics in your workplace, okay, in your organization. Right. So this is what we will cover in this chapter. Okay, so these are the learning objectives. Okay, so first we will discuss what it means to be socially responsible and what factor influence that decision. And then the second one, explain green management and how organization can improve green. And then discuss factors that lead to ethical and unethical behavior. Describe management role in encouraging ethical behavior. And then lastly, discuss current social responsibility and ethics issue. Right? Okay. So when we talk about social responsibility, there are 3 steps in social responsibility. First, you oblige with the first step. Okay, the lowest step is you follow the law. Okay, so that is the first step. Okay, in terms of responsibility. So you follow the rules that already stated by the government. Okay, sorry because I'm not really well. Okay, so pardon my okay, right. So the lowest level is obligation. You follow the laws and regulation that already been established by the government. Okay, and then we have the second level, which is responsiveness. Okay, so what is responsiveness? Okay, so responsiveness means you respond to the needs. Okay, so it's not just following the rules and regulations. Okay, and then if you have we call it as what is it? Okay, awareness. If okay, if you have awareness about your responsibility, okay, then you will go to the next level, which is responsiveness. Okay, so what is responsiveness? Okay, responsiveness means you respond to the needs of your community, okay, or the needs of your first one is your employee lah. Okay, so you respond to the needs of your employee. Okay, what are their needs? Okay, maybe it is out of the rules and regulation that already stated by the government, but because you're aware that it is your responsibility, okay, you have responsibility to respond to the need, then you respond it. Okay, so that is the second level. And then the third level is responsibility. What is different between responsiveness and responsibility? Responsiveness, you just respond. Okay, you just respond. But responsibility means take uh, what you call it, you take it as your priority. Okay, for responsiveness, you just respond. So maybe your maybe one of your breakup. Okay, boss, can I take a leave because my wife is sick? Okay, so you respond to her to his request. That's all. Okay, but responsibility means you being you take it as your priority. For example, maybe you see, okay, for example, if you okay, for the first one, okay, responsiveness, you just respond to the request of your staff. Okay, but if you are a responsible person, okay, when you go to your office, you see that your staff, okay, is not in the good mood. Okay, so you feel responsible. So okay, because you are a responsible person, so you go to your employee and then you ask what is his problem. Okay, so you take it as your priority. Okay, so this is different from respond. Okay, if you are only responding, okay, you become passive. Okay, you just take action after the person make some, okay, make after after the thing happened. Okay, after the accident happened. Okay, maybe for example, fire. Okay? One of the building in your area, it gets fire. Okay, so what is your response? Okay, you call for ambulance. Okay, you call for ambulance, etc. Okay, and then maybe you give some donation. So there is response. Okay, so you give response to anything that happened. Responsibility means you are an active person. You try to you approach the problem. Okay, so that's the difference between responsiveness and responsibility. Okay, so all these things, okay, will fall under what we call a social obligation. So what is social obligation? So social obligation is when a firm engage in social action because of its obligation to meet certain economic and legal responsibility. Okay, so this is the first level. Okay, like I explained, this is what we call as social obligation. So you have to comply to the rules and regulation that already been stated by the government. Okay, so the government already said, okay, so for company, how what is the percentage you have to contribute to the community. So you comply to the you comply to the rules and regulation. Okay, so these are the what we call as social obligation. Okay, so social obligation. Okay, so the researcher, they call it as classical. This is what we call as classical view. Okay, what is classical view of social obligation? So it's a view that management only social responsibility is to maximize profit. Okay, so for those who only comply to the rules and regulation that already being highlighted stated by the government. Okay, so we call this kind of organization as a classic organization. Okay, because they they believe that their main obligation to the organization is to make profit. Okay, so why they only comply to the rules and regulation, because I think that their responsibility as an organization is to make profit only. So that's why they don't care about anything that happens in the society or anything that happens to their employee. Uh, so they don't care about anything that happens to their to their to their to their employee. Okay, that outside of their scope. Okay, outside of their responsibility scope. Okay, so for example, maybe one of the employee they have, for example, okay, so what the employee they their parent is sick. So if your company is using the classical view of management, okay, when your employee come and try to get leave, okay, because of the parent is sick, okay, so maybe you will not give them the consent. Okay, why? Because it is out of your responsibility. Okay, what you care is they work for you and they can generate profit for you. Okay, so this is what we call as social obligation. So you only follow the rules and regulation that are highlighted by the government. Okay, okay, so that is the first level of social responsibility. Okay, and then that is social obligation and the classical view of management. But nowadays, okay, so nowadays many organizations start to practice giving back to the community. Okay, so these changes, okay, they are the as social economic view. Okay, so these are the new paradigm, the new thinking. Okay, in the business world. So everyone think that they have responsibility. they have to respond. They have some responsibility to the society. So what is socio-economic view? It is a view of it is a it's a way of thinking that manages social responsibility go beyond making profit to include protecting and improving society welfare. Okay? So it's not only your responsibility as the organization, it's not only to make profit for your organization. Okay, you should go beyond. Okay? If your organization using the social economic view as in their management, then they will see that their responsibility is beyond making profit only. So they have to protect and improve the society welfare. Okay, so they have obligation, they have responsibility to improve the welfare of the community. Okay? So under socio-economic view, there are two levels of social obligation. Okay, so there are two levels of social responsibility. Okay, right. So in the classic view, we have social obligation. Okay? And then under socio-economic view, we have two types. First is social responsiveness. Okay? When company engage in social action in response to some popular social need. Okay? So like I explained before, social responsiveness means you respond to your society. So your society, okay, provide something happen in your society, and then you do something to solve it or to make it better. Okay, so that is responsiveness. Okay, so yes, social responsiveness. Okay, and then we have the highest level in the social engagement. Okay, which is social responsibility. So what is social responsibility? So social responsibility is a business intention beyond its legal and economic obligation to do the right things and act in a way that are good for society. Okay? So when you achieve the highest level, which is social responsibility, you act on your own. Okay? So you are not waiting for anything happen in the society. You take the responsibility. So you have to be responsible for anything that happens in the society. So you as the organization, you have to do something good to the society. So you do it by your own will. So you are not only responding to the things that happen in your society, but you do it because you want to do it. So you actively, okay, engage with your society to make them better. Okay, so that is social responsiveness and social responsibility. Okay, right. Okay, so this part. So why some some organization, okay, they only, okay, they only uh, they only be responsible to the society in a minimal way, and why some organization they go beyond their their responsibility. So there is some argument, okay, why we should engage with society, why we should not engage with society. Okay? So what are the arguments that encourage organization to to do social responsibility? First is public expectation. Okay, because it is, okay, when you do something good to your community, it will your society will give a good feedback to your image. Okay, so that's why some organization they tend to do charity, they tend to do fundraising, etc. because they want to maintain good image of their organization. Okay? And then Second one is long-term profit. Okay, socially responsible company tend to have more secure long-run profit. Okay? So once you have a good image in the society, then they are more likely. Okay, so people are more likely to engage with your organization and buy your product. So you can sustain your profit. Okay, and then ethical obligation. So businesses should be socially responsible because responsible action are the right thing to do. Because the it is an ethical action. Okay, so it is ethically good to giving back to your society. So this is on the moral aspect. Okay, and then public image. Okay, so similar with first one. Okay, and then better environment. So business involvement can help solve difficult social problems. So when organization engage with the community, they can help solve some problems that the community have been suffered. For example, maybe they want to build a new a new shore. Okay, so playground. Maybe they want to build a new ground for them to play with. Okay? And then many of your employees live there. Okay, so you as the company, okay, so you want to do your thing, you want to improve the life of your employee, so you donate some money to build the playground. Okay? So your employee will be happier, okay? And then they also being motivated to go work, okay, with this, okay? Because you give something to them. Okay? Of course, when people give something to us, okay, it is an ethical, it is our instinct to give back to those person. Okay? So we must return something good to the person. Okay? Either it is little or more. But when you give something to others, okay, it will give it, okay, it will give back to your organization. Okay, and then discouragement of further government regulation. Okay, so when businesses, okay, they engage with the community, okay, so they also the government also might ease some regulation, because now if they see that many organizations are being responsible, okay, they give back to the community. Okay, so maybe they will ease up some regulation for the businesses, so that they can expand more, okay, they can expand more and get more profit. And then balance of responsibility and power. Business have a lot of power, and equally large amount of responsibility is needed to balance against that power. Okay, because the business they have money, so money is equal to power. Okay, so you can use money to build up your power. Okay, so when you have power, so you also will have responsibility. So the more power you have, the more responsibility you have to. Okay, and then stockholder interest. So the social responsibility will improve business stock price in the long run. Okay? So if your company is a limited company where you sold stock to the shareholder. Okay? So when you have a good image, okay, when your company has good image, okay, it will boost up your stock price. Okay? So so your stock will become more valuable. Okay? And then people will will fight to buy your stock. And then position of resources. Okay? So business have resources to support public and charitable projects that need assistance. And then lastly, superiority of prevention over cure. Business should address social problems before they become serious and costly to correct. Okay, so all these arguments supporting why business should engage with the with the community and society. So what are the argument or the reason some of the company they don't want to engage with society? So first of all, violation of profit maximization. Business is being socially responsible only when it pursues its economic interest. Okay? So some company they don't want to engage with the society because the main purpose of doing business is to generate profit. Okay? So there is no okay, there is not the business is to give back to the community. So the main reason, okay, the reason why people doing business is because you want to make money. Okay, so some businesses they don't want to engage with the community is because they don't want to jeopardize their main their main purpose, which is to make profit. Okay? And then second one, dilution of purpose, pursuing social goal, dilute business primary purpose, which is economic productivity. Okay? And then cost. Okay, and then the third one is cost. Many socially responsible actions do not cover their costs, and someone must pay those costs. Okay, so most of the activities, okay, most of the activities to social responsibility, they do not generate profit to the business. And then most of the time it will involve large amount of money. So to some business, when we take out money but didn't make a profit, for them it is a loss. Okay, so that's why they are hesitate and don't want to involve in social responsibility. Okay? And then too much power. Okay, so business have a lot of power already. If they pursue social goal, they will have even more. Okay, so the lack of skill, business leader lack of necessary skill to address social issue. And then lastly, lack of accountability. There are no direct line of accountability for social action. So these are the reasons why business, why organization, okay, they go, okay, some of the organization, they embrace social responsibility, and why some of the organization they are reluctant to engage with society. Okay, all right. Okay. So these are the okay, so this table show you the differences between social responsibility and social responsibility. Okay. Okay. So social responsibility is because you think it is ethical to do it. But for social responsibility, you only doing it because you need to do it. Okay. And then focus for social responsibility is at the end of the thing. What you focus on the end product. Okay. And then for social responsiveness, you're looking at the means why you need to do it. Okay, so you respond. Okay, so when you look at the mean, you will respond to those that give benefit to you. Okay, and then emphasize on social responsibility, emphasize on obligation, while social responsibility only respond to the request or to the issues that happen. Okay, and then social responsibility, the decision framework is on the long term, while social responsiveness are focused on medium and short term decision framework. Okay, right. So that is about social responsibility. Okay, social responsibility that organization have to engage. Okay, and then you have what we call as green management. Okay? So other than to the community itself, we also have to respond to the environment. So we as an organization, we also must take responsibility, okay, with our environment. Okay? So this is the term that we use it. Okay, we use in the management. We call it as green management. So this is a new term. Okay, so after some researcher in management, okay, they do some research, they find out that businesses, okay, business, okay, business is one of the contributor to the pollution in the world. Okay, so they start to study about how to become more responsible, okay, how business can become more responsible to the environment. So they coin the term, okay, they coin this term, okay, green management, okay, and then they also study how businesses can contribute to environment sustainability. Okay, so what 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 is the meaning of green management? So green management means managers consider the impact of their organization on the natural environment. Okay? So when we say green management, it means that the management are aware about their impact to the environment. Okay? And then we also will try to make way how to minimize the impact to the environment. Okay? So how organization can go green? Okay, so there are 4 steps. Okay, so there are 4 steps. First is legal or like green approach, okay, and then market approach, stakeholder approach, and then lastly activist approach. Okay, so this step follow from lower environmental sustainability to the high environmental sustainability. Okay, so means that, okay, so legal approach. So legal approach means you only following the rules and regulation that already been stated by the government. Okay, okay, that is the lowest level of social and environmental responsibility that businesses should have. Okay, and then we have the second one, which is market approach. Okay, so maybe, okay, so market approach. So one of the example is we try to make our product more greener. Okay, maybe we use less packaging. Okay, and then we use bio material. Okay, we use environmental friendly material for our product. Okay, so when we approach the market, we try to make sure that the product that we provide to the market is environmental friendly product. Okay, and then stakeholders. Okay, okay, alright. Stakeholder. So stakeholder means anyone that dependent on our organization. For example, our employee, our shareholder, and then our supplier, and etc. So anyone that has some stake in our organization means that they are depending on our organization. So means that anything happen to our organization, they will affect it. Okay, they also will get affected. Okay, so okay, for stakeholder approach, it means that we educate our stakeholder so that they also become environmental friendly. Okay, they also aware about environmental issue. Okay, and then they also contribute to our green management. Thing is that we train our employee. Okay, why we need to be okay, why we need to employ environmental friendly product, for example. Okay, and then we talk with our supplier. Okay, why we need to use environmental friendly product. Okay, and then okay, and then to our shareholder. Okay, we also have to explain to them why we go for green route, why we approach, okay, why we make some changes to our company, so that we can sustain our environment. So we educate them, okay, and then let them be aware about the environmental our environmental responsibility. And then lastly, the highest level is being activist, means that the organization itself is the one who fight and protect the environment. So, so we as the organization, we fight for the environment. So some organization they are very loud on this matter, okay? Especially organization that protects environment. Okay? So we have lots of we have lots of this kind of we have lots of organization that fight for the environmental protection. Okay? So these are the way, this is the step how we can go, okay, how we can approach for green management. So when we adapt for green management, when we adapt green management in our management style, okay, we have some ways. Okay, there are some ways that can there are some ways that we can use to evaluate our action. Okay? Are we greener yet? Okay, so is our approach is green enough to become impacted to our environment? Okay, so what are the action? Okay, what are the not action? What are the process that we can use to evaluate our green management action? Okay? First, we can issue the company can issue report on environmental performance. Okay? So we as the organization, we can produce our own report. Okay? So we produce our own report regarding our environmental performance. Okay? How well we protect our environment. So we produce our own report. And then the report must follow standard, okay, highlighted by ISO 9000 and also ISO 14000. So ISO 9000 is about quality management, and then ISO 14000 is about environmental management. Okay? So we can get endorsed by ISO 14000 if we use green management in our management style. So when we adapt, okay, when we adopt green management in our management, then we can try to get endorsement. Okay, we can try to get endorsement from the ISO under ISO 14000. So we can so when we get endorsement for under ISO 14000, then we can say that our company is a green company already. So we already endorsed by ISO standard. Okay, and then another way we can try is to try to get into global 100 list of most sustainable corporation in the world. Okay, so they are ranking. Okay, they are ranking that ranks company based on their sustainable and green approach. Okay, so after we got endorsement under ISO 14000, then we can try to find our way to enter the list. Okay, right. So this is about social responsibility, and this is the okay. So okay. So we already discussed about the responsibility of organization towards the society and towards the environment. Okay? And then let's we talk about ethics. Okay? So when we talk about responsibility, we always talk about ethics. Okay? So responsibility and ethics. Okay, so usually we go together. Okay? So what is ethics? So ethics is any principle, value, and belief that define right and wrong behavior. Okay? So ethics means, okay, the value that you hold, okay, that you use to make judgment. Okay? The value that you hold, the principle or value or belief that you hold, okay, that and can be used to make judgment on right or wrong behavior. Okay. Alright, so in the next slide of Exhibit 6.4, you will find several tests a manager can use when faced with ethical dilemma. if posing one of the question is listed in Exhibit 6.4 can help you make an ethical choice. Okay? So ethics is very subjective. So ethics is very, it will depend on the culture, it will depend on the situation, it will depend on the rules and regulations of the country and etc. Okay? But there are some basic principles that you can use to judge either action you take is ethical or not. Okay? And we can use question to check either it is or either the behavior or action that you want to take is ethical or not. So what can be ethically? Not consider using one or more of these tests. So you can ask yourself this question when you are not sure either the action you want to take is ethical or not. Okay, the first one is the golden rule test. I want people to do this to me. Okay? So for the first question you should ask yourself is, do you want others to do the same thing that you want to do? Okay. If you think, okay, if you think you are comfortable, if people are doing the same thing to you, then maybe the action you want to take is ethical. Is ethical. Okay, maybe you have to ask other question. Okay? And then the second question you can ask is, what if everybody did this test? Okay? Would I want everyone to do this? Would I want to live in that kind of world? Okay. So the first one you ask yourself, do you comfortable if people are doing the same thing to you? Okay. And then the second one you ask, do you comfortable seeing everyone doing the things that you want to do? Right, that is the second question. And then the third question, the family test. How would my parent or spouse or significant other or children feel if they found out I did this? So this is what we call as a guilty trap. Okay? So you try to make yourself guilty. So you ask yourself, if let's say I'm doing this, okay, will they also get affected? So you ask yourself, okay? So you try to make yourself guilty. If you think that they will not feel guilty for the action that you want to take, okay, it is possible that the action you want to take is ethical. Okay, and then the next one, the concise test. Does this action go against my conscience or my moral way? I feel guilty afterward. Then you ask yourself, do you feel guilty to do the action? If you feel guilty, it is most likely the action is unethical action. And then lastly, the front page of social media test. How would I feel if this action was reported on the front page of my hometown newspaper or splashed across social media for all to see? Okay? So you ask yourself, what do you feel if everybody knows you do the action? You are the one who's doing it. What do you feel if everybody talks about your action? And I see, is it make you proud? Is it so you have, if you can answer this question sincerely, okay, and then the answer is positive, then most likely the action you want to take is an action. If not, okay, that means the action is an unethical action. Okay. All right. So like I said before, okay, ethics is very subjective. Okay? It will depend on culture, it will depend on interpretation, it will depend on regulation, etc. Okay? So there are some factors that can determine ethical and ethical behavior. So there are some factors that you can use to determine whether action is ethical or unethical. So what are the factors? The factors is here. Okay? So this is okay. So ethical dilemma. Okay, for example, okay, you have some problem that you want to take action, but you don't know whether your action is good or not. Okay? And then stage of moral dilemma, and then these are the factor that can determine the ethical or unethical behavior. Your characteristic. So your characteristic will determine your action. Okay? And then issue intensity. So how intense the issue, how serious the issue are. Okay? And then the culture of the organization itself. Okay? So what is the culture of the organization? If your bosses also doing some unethical action, then maybe you also be influenced to do the same. Okay? But if your organization is a very ethical organization, everyone do the right thing, okay, and then if someone do wrong thing, they will correct it correctly. Okay? So maybe you will be afraid to do to do to do any unethical action. Okay, and then lastly is structural variable to the organization itself. Okay? So this factor, okay, will become, okay, can become the basis when you want to determine either the action is ethical or unethical. Okay. Okay. So there is a research, okay, being done by the researcher on the moral, on how people build up on how people develop their moral, their moral values. Okay. So after based on their finding, the researcher divide the step on moral development into several stages. Okay. So they divide it into three stages. So the first stage is pre-conventional level, okay, and then the second one is conventional level, and then the third one is principal level. Okay. So what is pre-conventional, conventional, and principal level? Okay. So in pre-conventional level, sorry, pre-commercial level, a person choice between right or wrong is based on personal consequences from outside source, such as physical punishment, reward, or exchange of favor. Okay? So this is like what we learn during our childhood. Okay? So our parent will punish you if you do something wrong. Okay, and then our parent also will give you reward if you do something good. Okay? So these are the first level, this is the first step where people start to develop their moral value. Okay? So based on the teaching of their parent, they will develop, they will recognize what is wrong, what is right, what is ethical, what is unethical. Okay, that is the conventional level. Okay, this is a level where we try to learn what is right and what is wrong. Okay, and then the second level on the conventional level, ethical decision rely on maintaining a standard and living up to the expectation of others. Okay, so after our parents teach us what is right and what is wrong, okay, and then we try, okay, and then the next step is we try to be careful, okay, of doing things. Why? Because we don't want to get scolded or get punished by our parents. Okay? So we already know the consequences of doing something wrong, right? Okay? So in the earlier stage of our childhood, we already learn what is the effect if we do something wrong. Okay? And then as we progress, okay, to we learn to we learn to to be very careful, okay, on what we did, so that we will not get scolded or get punished by our parents. Okay? So these are the second level. when we try to adapt the teaching by our okay, and then lastly is the principal level. Okay, so in principal level, individual define moral value apart from authority of the group to which they belong to which they belong or society in general. Okay, so the third level or the principal level is where the teaching of our parent already become your blood, okay, your blood and muscle. Okay? You already been very familiar with the with which is right, which is wrong. Okay? So it already become your people. It already become something that you believe. It's something that you hold to determine which is right or which is wrong. Okay, so when this thing become your principle, then whatever happen, for example, people say, oh, if you do this one is okay. Okay, but you already know it is a wrong action. Okay, so you will hold to your principle. Okay? So these are the highest level in moral development where it only become your moral value. Okay? So it already become part of you. So you even though your parents will not scold you anymore, but you already know this is right, this is wrong. So it already become part of yourself. Okay, and then they okay, so and then the three stages of the moral development can be further divided into six steps. Okay, right? We have three levels, okay? And then from the three level, we can divide it more into three steps. Okay? The first step, the lowest, okay? From the lowest to the highest. Okay? First one is sticking to rule to avoid physical punishment. Okay? And then the second step is following rule only when doing so is in your immediate interest. Okay? And then the third step, living up to what is expected by people close to you. Okay, and then the fourth step, maintaining conventional order by fulfilling obligation to which you have agreed. Okay, and then the fifth step, valuing right of others and upholding absolute values and right regardless of majority opinion. Okay, okay. And then lastly, following self-chosen ethical principle, even if they violate the law. Okay. Right. So these are the level of moral development and the step, okay, the three level, okay, the three level of moral development and the six type of moral development. Responsible personality, order to determine whether a person behave ethically. Each person comes to an organization with a very set of personal value, which determines the conviction of what is right and wrong. Our beliefs develop from that age based on what we see and hear from parents, teachers, and so the moral way okay, so ethical or unethical behavior will be depend on individual itself. Okay? So even though you already write all the rules and regulation, all the procedure, all the good habit, etc., it will depend on the individual itself. Either they will accept it or they will ignore it. So what determines, okay, so what are the factors that determine, okay, a person will follow, okay, will follow ethical or unethical behavior is by their characteristic. So individual characteristic will influence either they will act ethically or they will act unethically. So what are the characteristics of the individual that will influence either the person will do ethical action or do unethical action. Okay, the first one is their own values. Okay? So values means that whatever they already learn from their childhood until their adulthood, okay? And the thing that ingrained into their personalities. Okay? So some people where they have a good upbringing, they will act very, very politely. Okay? Because their upbringing is they raised up in those kind of environment. Okay? So their parent is very loving, their family is very encouraging, okay? And then their everyday interaction is very polite. So the child will grow up and become person that very where the child will grow up and become a person that has a very good personality. Okay? He will become very polite to others. Okay? And then some people, because of their upbringing, their childhood, maybe their parent is not a good person. Okay, so they will learn from their life experience. Okay? So that's why some people they have a good values, but some people they have not so good values. So the first characteristic of an individual, okay, and the first characteristic of a person that determines either he or she will act ethically or not is their own values. What is their values? Okay? And then ego strength. Okay? So ego strength means that the strength of their conviction. Okay? So some people they have a very high ego. They have a very high ego level. And when you already determined to do something, okay, no one can change their mind. Okay? And then they are very okay, and then they also very stubborn to accept any suggestion from others. Okay? So the second characteristic that determine either a person will act ethically or not, okay, is based on their impulsion. Okay, and then lastly is locus of control. Okay, so what is locus of control? Okay, so locus of control means to which people believe they control their own fate. Okay? People with internal locus of control believe they control their own destiny. They are more likely to take responsibility for consequences and rely on their own internal standard of right and wrong and guide their behavior. Okay? So locus of control means how well you can keep your belief. Okay? Okay? Locus of control means your belief that you can control your. So when you have a good locus of control, it means that you believe that you are the one who controls your destiny, and and you are responsible. You are responsible to your to whatever you do. Okay, sorry guys. Share again. Okay, so okay, sorry. Okay, so people that has good locus of control, they tend to be responsible to whatever action they take. Okay, right. So some people they don't have locus of control. They tend to blame everyone if they are doing something wrong. Okay, but people who have good locus of control, they 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 can help. They have conscious to be responsible to whatever they did in their life. Okay? All right. So these are the three characteristics that will determine either a person is ethical or unethical person. Right. Okay, and then the next one that can influence your ethical or unethical action is the structural behavior. Ethical behavior can be influenced by an organization structure, structural design, goal, performance appraisal system, and reward allocation. Okay? So another thing that will determine the action taken by a person is ethical or unethical is from the environment itself. If we're talking about organization, we're talking about the organization structure itself. How you punish your employee if they are doing something unethical. What kind of reward you give if they are doing something ethical. Okay, and then what is the culture of your what is the culture of your organization. Okay? So okay, all these things related to your organization will influence the behavior of your employee. Okay? So when your employee act unethically, you have to check their behavior, their personality, their characteristic, and then the second one you also must check your organization, your organization environment. What kind of environment you have in your organization? Okay, so you have to check. Okay, is there any misconduct action happen before? Okay? Are they okay? Uh, are they punished? Okay, so the one that do it previously, are they punished? Okay? So you have to check, okay, because all this history, okay, will repeat itself. If you are not correcting the thing that happened in your organization, it will repeat itself. Okay, right? So the second factor that can influence a person to act ethical or not is from the organization itself. Okay? And then issue intensity. So issue intensity means that how severe your action is. Okay, so issue intensity means okay, the third reason people can act ethical or not is due to the intensity of the action. So how intense the action is. Okay? So the intensity of the action will be depend on first consensus of wrong. It means that how much agreement is there that this action is wrong. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay? How well you know the action is wrong or right. Okay? And then probability of harm. How likely is it that the action will cause harm to you or to other people? And then immediacy of consequences. Okay? How immediate the harm will come. Okay, and then proximity to victim. How close you are to the potential victim. So every action it will give impact to several person. Okay? So how close you are to the person that will be affected by your action. Okay, and then concentration of effect. So how big the impact will happen. Okay? So how big the impact will be happen to the victim. Okay, and then lastly, greatness of harm. How many people will get affected by your action? Okay, all right. So based on this characteristic, okay, all right. So if the action you take will harm larger number of people, okay, and then your conscience said that the action is wrong, then there is more agreement that the action is wrong, okay, and then the likelihood of the action will cause harm is greater, okay, and then the harm will come more immediately, okay, and then the victim is is closer to you, and then the action the effect is more concentrated on the victim. It means that the issue is greater. Okay, but these six factor you can determine how big your action will become. Okay? If your action give harm to many people, okay, the harm is very severe, okay, and then the victim is very close to you, then you are most likely not doing the unethical action. Okay. Okay, so these are the three factors that will determine either the person will will act unethically or sorry will act ethically or unethically. Okay, right. So you have individual characteristic itself, okay, and then the environment of the organization, and then lastly the intensity of the action and harm from the action. Okay, all right. So are ethical standards universal? Although some common moral belief exist, social and cultural difference between countries are important factors that determine ethical and ethical and unethical behavior. Okay, right. So like I said before, to determine either something is ethical or unethical, it will be it will vary from country to country, from culture to culture, and from belief to belief. It's very subjective. But when we are working on the global scale, so we have to make some standard. So everyone will follow the same standard, and everyone will understand either this action is ethical or unethical. Okay, so ethical standards are not universal. Okay, all right. So that's why when we are working on the global level, there are several what you call it guideline you can follow. Okay? This one is what we call as Foreign Corrupt Practice Act. Okay, so the United Nations they already outlined several guidelines and several standards that you can use to determine if something is ethical or unethical. Okay, so they already outlined what we call as United Nations Global Contract. Okay, and then the one is Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Okay, so these two guidelines, okay, and standard can be used to determine either the action is ethical or unethical. Okay, so these are the principle, okay, of UN Global Compact. So UN Global Compact also is another standard, okay, that is set by the United Nations to standardize the ethical standard between countries. Okay? So what is stated in the United Nations Global Compact? First one, business should support and respect the protection of internally proclaimed human rights in the sphere of influence. Okay. And then number one, make sure they are not complicit with human rights abuse. Okay, so business when they go global, they cannot abuse human rights in any country. Okay, and then the third principle is should uphold the freedom of association and the effective protection of the right to collective bargaining. Principle number four, elimination of all form of forced and compulsory labor. Number five, effective abolition of child labor. Okay, and then number six,
elimination of discrimination in respect to employment and education. Okay, and then number 7, business should support a precautionary approach to environmental challenge. And then number 8, undertake initiative to promote greater environmental responsibility. And then number 9, encourage development and diffusion of environmental friendly technology. And then lastly, number 10, business should work against corruption in all forms, including extortion and bribery. So these are the standard that United Nations already outlined for all businesses in the world. Okay. Alright. Employee selection. So some firms do pre-employment integrity testing to weed out applicants that are likely to be dishonest or engage in other undesirable workplace behavior. Okay. Right. So sometimes because we know that issue come from multiple people. Okay. So the best way to avoid unethical behavior is by avoiding people who are more likely to do ethical action. Okay. So we can filter out it. So eliminate their source of action, which is the human being. So most businesses, so some businesses, they will do what we call as pre-employment interview. So we test the integrity of their worker before they are working in the company. Okay? So by doing this, they can avoid hiring people who are most likely to engage with unethical behavior in their lives. So first need to state that the background check will be conducted and references conducted. Use interview to pose ethical questions to determine the applicants. Some company they tend to do this type of test. So they will test the integrity of the employee first before they will employ them. Okay? Because they want to avoid the problem at the first place. The code of ethics and decision rule. Okay. Code of ethics is a formal statement of an organization, primary value as its employee to follow. Okay. Another way to promote to promote an ethical action and promote ethical action in the workplace is by create code of ethics. So code of ethics is the statement company give, okay, to their employee what they should hold, okay, when they are working in the company. Okay, what value they should hold when they are working in their company. Okay, and then the code of ethics also will state, okay, what are the values they expect their employee to have. Okay. Effectiveness of code of ethics depend heavily on whether management support them and how employees that violate the code are treated. Okay. So when the company have their own code of ethics, okay, to ensure that the code of ethics is effective to prevent any unethical behavior, they should act on the ethic itself. It means that from the top to the bottom, they should act following the code of ethics, and then they should give punishment for those who violate the code. If they make some exemption or they make some excuses when they want to punish some people because they do some unethical behavior, then your employee will not follow your code of ethics. Okay, because there are loopholes to your code of ethics. But so how to develop code of ethics? Organization leaders should model appropriate behavior and reward those who act ethically. Managers should reaffirm the importance of ethics, code, and discipline those who break it. Stakeholders should be considered as an ethic code is developed. Okay, stakeholders should be considered as an ethic code is developed or improved. Manager could communicate and reinforce the ethic code regularly. And manager should use five-step process to guide employee when faced with ethical dilemma. Okay, so this is how you develop your code of ethics and how you want to maintain your code of ethics. Okay, and then leadership from at the top. Doing business ethically require commitment from manager at all levels, but especially the top level, because they uphold the shared value and set the culture tone, and then they are the role model in both word and action. Okay? So when we talking about ethical behavior, the action must come from top to bottom. Okay? So your top manager, okay, will have greater responsibility to ensure that your organization, yeah, all the personnel in the organization will act ethically, okay? Because they are the they are the role model on the top of the organization. Okay? So whatever they do, other people on the at the lower level will follow. Okay? So if they want their organization to be ethical, so they they at the top management must act ethically first. Okay? So after their okay, and then the 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 personnel at the lower level, they will see them as the role model, okay, and then they will follow their leadership. Okay. And then job goal and performance appraisal. Under the stress of unrealistic goal, otherwise ethical employee may feel they have no choice but to do whatever is necessary to meet those goals. Okay. So another thing, okay, so another thing that can influence people to do unethical because they are desperate. So maybe for example, maybe you set their employment role too high. For example, maybe for a fresh sales representative, you set their sales goal to be 1 million for a year. Okay. So for those who are beginner, very new to sales department, okay, maybe it is burdensome to them. Okay. And then they maybe cannot achieve the goal. Okay. So when they cannot achieve the goal, okay, so people when they become desperate, they will tend to do everything. Okay, they will do anything to get their goals. Okay. So they have tendency to act unethically to achieve their goal. Okay, so when you set the job goal and uh, set the performance the performance index for your employee, you have to check their capabilities. Okay? You cannot set the goal too high, okay? So that they are not desperate to achieve it. Okay? And then you also must give ethics training. More organizations are setting up seminar, workshop, and similar ethics training program to encourage ethical behavior. Okay, and then independent social audit. Okay, so you use external audit to evaluate decision and management practice in terms of organization code of ethics. Okay, so you can also invite external parties to evaluate your management process. So you can invite external parties to assess either your management process is ethical or not. Okay. Let's take a short break, guys. 10 minutes. Then we continue our lesson. Okay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So let's continue our lesson. Okay. Right. So that is about conducting. Okay. So when we talk about ethical issue in the workplace, so we will face with so we will have the one who report any unethical behavior. Okay, so any unethical behavior that happen in the workplace, okay, it is hard for you to detect it by yourself. Okay, because people who do unethical behavior most of the time they will try to hide it from others. Okay, and then it can only be detected, okay, when somebody report their action to the management. Okay, so the person who report unethical behavior or any ethical concern that happen in the workplace, we call it as whistleblowers. Okay, so whistleblowers, okay, so somebody who reports any unethical behavior, okay, either in the work uh, any unethical behavior happen in the nation, okay, they are protected by law. Okay, so in US they have in, for example, in USA, okay, in United States of America, United States, okay, 22 federal statutes for protecting whistleblowers. Okay. So in US itself, okay, for example, in the United States, we have 22 laws, okay, that is being being outlined, okay, to protect the right of whistleblower. Okay. So here in Malaysia, we also have our own laws to protect any whistleblower when they reporting any unethical issue, either national level, or state level, or national level, etc. Okay. So we have our own law to protect the safety of whistleblower. Okay. So managers retaliating against whistleblower it's so in US, we can see ethical action in your organization, and then they try to take their own action against you. Okay? If caught, they can they can be sentenced with 10-year prison, 10-year prison plus uh, plus any punishment due to their own unethical action. Okay, so if you go and report any unethical action happen in your workplace, okay, you are being protected by the law of the country itself. Okay. And then organizational safety and occupational safety and Health Association for OSHA has proposed 5 anti-retaliation program, okay, to protect whistleblowers. So what are the actions that being highlighted by OSHA to protect whistleblowers? Okay. First one is management commitment. Management needs to demonstrate its commitment to address concerns. So, under OSHA remediation program, also under OSHA and remediation program, there are 5 mechanisms. Also, first is management commitment, management, management protect whistleblower, and then compliance entire process and response system to have established procedure for configuration. So the management must establish a system where any employer can report an ethical program where any expectation and all so they can report the action without revealing the okay. Then the third element is anti-retaliation system. Make clearly designed channel by past managers accused of retaliation. Will not go into for engineering is to all employees to be trained by the laws of training to employee how they should respond when program oversight. The program need rigorous oversight in the form of monitoring process management must monitor the process of reporting the action so they must consistently monitor the system and then right. So these are the protection. Okay, these are the protection. Okay, given to you as the whistleblower by OSHA, by OSHA anti-retaliation program. Okay, all right. And then okay, so nowadays we have social media. Okay, so from the emerging of social media, we have what we call as social entrepreneurship. Okay, so what is social entrepreneurship? So from the starting of people recognize that businesses have responsibility, okay, to their community. Okay, they have been a new type of entrepreneur arise from there. Okay, we call it as social entrepreneurship. Okay, so these are one type of organization that how to improve the society. Okay, so an organization that focus on society, we call it as social entrepreneurship. Okay, so social entrepreneurship is individual or organization that seek out opportunity to improve society using practical, innovative, and sustainable approach. Okay, so any organization that focus on improving the lifestyle of the society or improving the well-being of the society. That is what we call as social entrepreneurship. Okay? So social entrepreneurship, they are not focusing on making profit. Okay? Their main goal is to improve the well-being of the society. So that is their main target. Okay, so social entrepreneur. Okay, we can most of the time we can see it. We can see it in the charity bodies or maybe in some business they also they are also they focus on how to improve the society instead of making profit from the society. Okay, so these are another type of organization, where their focus is on
on the social wellness, okay, social welfare. They focus on social welfare. Okay, right. All right, and then social media and social responsibility. Social media has a growing impact on everyone. It has been recognized as tool manager can use to communicate and promote socially responsible action. Some research shows it can enhance a company reputation. Currently, one of the best way for organization to promote transparency, provide a mean to shape organization image or reputation. Okay, so nowadays due to the sorry, so nowadays due to the influence of social media, okay, and then their popularity in the society, many businesses, okay, use social media to promote their social responsibility action. For example, they are doing donation, they are doing environmental protection program, okay, or they are doing environmental sustainability program. Okay, so through the social media, many organizations promote themselves. Okay, so they use social media to build their social responsibility image to show to everyone that they are socially responsible. Okay, and then they are also environmentally responsible. Okay, so many businesses using the social media to promote, okay, this kind of program, okay, to their audience. Okay, and then we have what we call as corporate philanthropy. Okay, so corporate philanthropy can be an effective way for company to address society problem. For example, Walmart, Google, and ExxonMobil are the top 10 most charitable company. Philanthropy is a good for employee morale and increased firm ability to attract top talent. 55% of online consumers indicate they would pay more for a product to support philanthropy. Okay, so philanthropy means that you give charity to the society. Okay, for example, we can see what Bill Gates do. Okay, so he established his own fund, okay, to give funding to the student to further the study. Okay, so this is what we call as philanthropy. So when we have a philanthropy action, okay, from our organization, it can attract more people, okay, to our company. So this is one of the tactics, okay, used by the organization to promote themselves. Okay, all right. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that's all for the number 6. Okay, all right. Yeah, so sorry. Oops. Okay, so that's